Guys, we need to address the alien in the room. Someone tell me right now how Mark Zuckerberg went from looking like a mutated species that was responsible for the creation of the pyramids to looking like he's one day away from getting a taper fade. It's just not adding up. Now, I'm no conspiracy theory guy, but why do I have a feeling that Mark Zuckerberg is slowly becoming more human the more AI becomes advanced? I mean, let's refresh our memory for a second. Just a few years ago, Mark Zuckerberg was literally acting like a robot that's pretending to be a human.
I think it's time for my workout.
I mean, are you seeing this crap? What is this transition? How does he go from saying, it's time for my workout, with a smile that looks forced, to looking completely dead with a death stare, where it looks like he's looking right into our souls? With no context whatsoever, you would think that this clip was AI generated. That is how uncanny and how unnatural Mark used to look like just a few years ago. But are you really expecting us to believe that nowadays, Mark is this hipster, relatable to the youth, MMA fighter, Giga Chad? Yeah, nobody's buying this, Mark. Hey, I'll tell you what though, even though Mark's rebrand is clearly a desperate move from his PR team to make him as relatable as possible to the new generation, I'll give Zuckerberg props for finally passing the Turing test. But if you've been following Zuckerberg for a long time, then you know that this whole rebrand is BS. I mean, when you literally release a documentary called Being Human in 2024...
When I saw you in that text, people online were like wondering if that was real or AI generated.
Well, I mean, it's a good trick if people wonder if it's AI generated. But no, it was not.
I'm here to say, he's human, and he really did it.
Mark is not beating the alien allegations. Yeah, guys, when you're paying someone to make a documentary about you, and when they're the one vouching for you being human, I don't know about you guys, but I'm convinced that Mark is a human now.
Do you think tech will change the very essence of what it means to be human?
I'm gonna be completely honest, I think Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are hoping tech will change what it means to be human. Bruh, make no mistake, we might be laughing right now at Elon Musk's random autistic moments and at Mark Zuckerberg's alien-like antics, but don't laugh too much, guys, because there's gonna come a day when they're gonna have the last laugh. There's gonna come a day where technology is gonna become so advanced that we're all gonna have a Neuralink chip installed inside of our brains, and the new way of behaving like a human will be to behave like Mark Zuckerberg and throw the occasional gamer salute like Elon Musk.
Do you think tech will change the very essence of what it means to be human?
You know, if technology continues, then we'll get more productive, which means that we'll be able to provide for, you know, people's basic needs with a smaller and smaller portion of all of human labor, which means that people will be freed up to do, you know, more creative work and more of the stuff that they want.
Yeah, I think Mark is forgetting the part where AI is going to become so advanced that it's literally going to steal more jobs than illegal immigrants. But don't take it from me. Take it from Mark Zuckerberg himself.
I think this year, probably in 2025, we at Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code. And once you have that, then in the beginning it'll be really expensive to run, and then you can get it to be more efficient. And then over time, we'll get to the point where a lot of the code in our apps, and including the AI that we generate, is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers.
Imagine being a software engineer who's working for Mark Zuckerberg and hearing from your own boss that you might get replaced in 2025. And that's exactly why being loyal to a corporation is brain dead. Mark doesn't care about you. As soon as the AI becomes advanced enough to take your job at a fraction of your salary, well, at that point, you might as well go eat a fat dookie from Queso's bum, because you're out. I want to remind everyone really quick that AI right now is in the worst state it'll ever be. I mean, just a year ago, we had AI literally generating a video of a mutated version of Will Smith eating spaghetti. And now this is the quality of AI generation? Yeah, AI is advancing a little bit too fast, guys. Now, I don't personally think that AI is going to take over software engineers' jobs in 2025, like Mark is saying. After all, Mark is literally the guy who was shilling the metaverse and saying that all of humanity would be living in the metaverse by now, when in reality, the metaverse turned out to be the biggest piece of crap in all human history.
Yeah, we're working on this now and expect to launch it next year.
And in virtual reality, there's already head and hand positions, so...
Yeah, no wonder this piece of crap failed. Like, what am I looking at? You can't be serious. That's not Mark Zuckerberg. That's Marcus Hamburger. Like I was saying, Mark has been wrong with his predictions in the past. So take everything Mark is saying with a grain of alien salt. But that's the kind of person Mark is. He'll preach about how it's safe to give all your data to Facebook.
In the privacy settings, it's my understanding that they limit the sharing of that. Does that also limit the ability for Facebook to collect and use it?
Senator, yes.
About how Facebook is a safe platform.
Senator, I think Facebook is safe.
When in reality, the guy who's asking his users to allow Meta or Facebook to have access to their microphone and to their webcam, well, that same guy is literally taping his webcam and his microphone on his laptop. Remember, guys, if a product's free, you're the product. And Facebook is the biggest culprit of that saying. I mean, look at this. Depending on where you live, Facebook literally holds you at gunpoint and asks you to either pay for a subscription to not have your info or data collected and sold to the highest bidder, or if you want to keep using the app for free and trust a Zuck with your data. And don't get it twisted, that's Facebook being nice, by the way, because before, they would just sell your data without letting you know. Now, I already know some of you smartasses are gonna be like, why is it so bad that I'm giving all of my data to Facebook? What's the problem? Even though you're right that every company nowadays is harvesting our data, I think when a social media platform is controlled by one of the most socially autistic aliens on the planet, and when that social media platform is requesting 50 permissions from your mobile device, and is somehow asking you for your credit score? Well, like Kesu, who's got the BMI of a planet, would say, that's a little bit too much dip for my chip, bruh. But once again, don't take it from me, take it from Mark himself, who admits that he would be very uncomfortable sharing the content of his text messages and his private information in general with random people.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
Would you expect us to share our credit score with your lizard ass? Yeah, that's gonna be a no from me, dog. Let's go back to Mark Zuckerberg's rebrand situation. I don't know about you guys, but when I see an interview or a documentary about Mark Zuckerberg being pushed called The New Mark Zuckerberg, well, personally for me, it really feels like a self-report about this whole new look of Mark being nothing more than a PR stunt to appeal to the new generation. In fact, I'm making this video because I feel like this new generation that might not be aware of Mark Zuckerberg's creepy alien antics is going to get baited by his rebrand, and they're gonna think that he's this cool, relatable, nice guy. And I feel like I have to remind you guys of how not only weird and creepy Mark is,
but it is gonna bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still.
but how he's definitely not to be trusted. I mean, look at this clip. This has got to be proof that he's socially autistic. Look at this. Look at how he's sipping on that water.
If you're over your
Bruh, let's be real. A man didn't even sip 1 milliliter out of that cup of water. Only Mark Zuckerberg can make sipping water look like the most sus thing ever. If I'm in a jury and I see someone sipping water like that, he's guilty in my book. But Mark recently went to the Joe Rogan podcast, and there's this particular clip that just stuck with me. So in this clip, Joe and Mark talk about how the mainstream media is known for covering topics that they're not necessarily knowledgeable about sometimes, which leads them to get the information wrong. So it's always funny when the media starts saying, oh, we're gonna do better next time.
And mainstream media is like, they're just doing that because that's their job. You know, they probably don't even know a lot about climate change. They probably don't really understand too much about what bakes it.
Now, the funny thing about this following clip that you're gonna watch is that what Joe Rogan's gonna say is going to actually have a double meaning behind it. Because what Joe's saying about the mainstream media also applies to Mark's rebrand.
It's a terrible format. Yeah, and the problem is they get locked into that format and no one trusts them. And then they leave and they go, yeah, but you were just lying to us about this, that, and the other thing. And now I'm supposed to believe you're one of the good guys. You're one of the straight shooters now.
Yeah.
You can just see Joe cackling and laughing because he knows he cooked Mark right there. And then I just love how it cuts to Mark, somehow finding a way to look as guilty as possible. Moral of the story is, the only authentic thing about Mark's rebrand is the fact that he's a gooner now.